Okay, next up we have Evil Come, Evil Go from 1972. And I'm just going to read the plot right off IMDb, which is pretty true for the movie. A religious fanatic murders people who are engaging in sex. And as you can imagine, well, maybe you can't imagine, this isn't a movie that is necessarily easy to imagine unless you've been exposed to like low budget 70s cinema. But this is like as grindhouse as a movie can get. It's very basic with this religious nutcase going around killing. She herself is engaged in these carnal activities, but she's still killing other men because men are evil. And she's also part lesbian because she gets with this one lesbian chick and they go and kill more people and they ask, yeah, and it's a pretty good movie.
I can't tell how serious you are about that, but
Well, my rating at the end would explain just how serious I am. But I'm sort of curious. Have you heard about this one before, or is this one like something completely out of the blue?
yeah, no, I don't recall ever hearing about this one, so definitely a first time watch for me. It was interesting, I guess. Not all that long, I don't think it was, but well, first things first. I mean, I don't even know if this movie has an actual ending.
I know it's that finale was most ingenious.
Yeah, I mean, the movie just does things, but it doesn't really go anywhere to like any kind of conclusion, really. I mean, it almost feels like it's missing the last 20 minutes. But I will say I didn't have as much of a bad time with this as other people do, I guess, because from what I remember, it had a really low rating on IMDb. The story to it's okay. Like I've always said in the past that I do find religious wackos to be somewhat creepy in some form or another. So, I guess this is another one. I wouldn't say I was really too worried about anything that was happening in the movie, but to be honest, I find basically sex or porn or anything from this era to be just plain filthy. All I can think of is like the relaxed standards of hygiene and yeah, I don't know, dirty motherfuckers.
Well, the 70s was a beautiful time for the porn industry, though.
Mm,
And who can blame them after seeing all these beautiful women?
yeah. Well, yeah, I like that one guy's idea at the beginning of the movie on how he could get her to shut up. Just go down on me, just then I don't have to listen to you talk.
Yeah, that guy might have had somewhat of a primitive mindset, shall we say? But such was the time period.
Yeah, and actually, just before I forget, it was funny because I was trying to look up trailers of some of the movies that we were watching for today's show. I was trying to look for a trailer for this, and it's not coming up on YouTube, and I was like, or at least there's maybe a couple of videos of people talking about the movie, but that's about it. And so I Google searched it, and the trailer's on a porn site, so I know it's sort of that type of movie, so then I was like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? But I mean, you can put a trailer together without showing all the nakedness, but I guess that might limit you somewhat as to what you can show from this movie. But yeah, so I saw that. Just thought that was an amusing thing to mention. We'll call them the love scenes in this movie, or well, the sex scenes. I don't know what the hell is going on with the cameraman. He's all over the shop. It's almost like he's trying to beat off to what he's filming.
Well, it's quite possible he was.
And speaking of the sex scenes, numerous times in the movie, this one cat just randomly jumps all over the place on the bed while they're doing it. So that was definitely an Oscar-worthy performance from that cat.
Yes. Yeah, so I will say, on a somewhat related note, I'm not generally fond of scenes like this from the 70s. I don't know, I guess like Chucky said, it just seems so old-fashioned might not be the right word, but it's not quite as the modern day experience as you might hope to anticipate. I mean, I do think a decent amount of the women in the movie though were pretty attractive, so it was almost okay just to see them being so happy in the material and engaged with the acting, but at least they had that going for it.
If I think the character's name was Penny, I can't remember, but if she wasn't such a religious nut, yeah, I'd hit it, I guess.
Yeah, and that's I don't know, like Pandy's a somewhat strange character. She just like sort of when Sister Sarah's like panhandling for one, she just pops out, oh hey, I help you, I hate men, and later turns out that she's a lesbian, but then she's one of those like really religious lesbians, I guess, and she can be talked into anything apparently. So I guess if you want to blindfold a young lesbian to a bar, here you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
That scene was pretty
whole
long, by the way.
sequence was sort of strange to me, but then again, it's not like the movie was necessarily deep in its like logical story connections.
For reals.
I also like the random couple at the end. As the two women are hiding the body, they come across this one couple who just makes love, and then afterwards a guy comes up, I knew you girls were there the whole time. And that, of course, leads to the aforementioned non-conclusion conclusion.
Speaking of enjoyable moments, I guess, I did enjoy her attempt at trying to get a free lunch, and then results in her kind of like mouthing "fuck you" after not getting a hot dog for free.
I mean, that was a pretty cheap hot dog too, at least by modern day standards, so I definitely would have been okay with that price.
Yeah, inflation, I guess, probably. I don't have a calculator in front of me, but I'm going to guess it's going to cost you at least $3 or $4 these days.
I feel like just because I'm saving people resources, I should probably get it for free though.
Yeah.
And actually, speaking of which, if that's your type of thing, this movie does feature a wonderful theme song, which I think pops up twice throughout the movie. A nice soft rock ballad about the main character's quest to kill all the evil men. Unfortunately, I cannot find the song itself alone on YouTube, but it's certainly worth listening to.
You put it on your Spotify playlist.
You know what? If I could actually find that song alone, I would.
I mean, it's surprising actually how many older songs you can find from these older movies, especially the more obscure movies like Sweet 16 from the early 80s. You can find that soundtrack on Spotify.
I guess that's nice because it can potentially lead to a somewhat increased exposure. Although I can't see that happening with this one, especially since
No.
this movie has a somewhat more adult feel to it. Actually, on a related note, I'm trying to phrase this carefully. I enjoyed the fact that there was male frontal nudity was something I
You
appreciated.
enjoyed the male frontal nudity.
Okay.
I knew it.
There you go. Because that's something that you obviously don't see in your everyday horror movie. No, this one has a more, like we said, a more adult feel to it. Potentially straight up pornography.
Oh, speaking of which, this actually reminded me. Oh man, some of those close-ups, like the cameraman once again, just ultra weird zoom-ins of body parts. Like he just like get the entire guy's dick and balls right in the entire frame. Like, oh man.
Think about how much practice he had to do that.
And which reminds me, because when I watch this movie, or usually when I watch movies for the show, I try to just make a few notes of things happening or things I'd say about the movie. And usually I use Notepad just on my laptop that's sitting in front of me. And I had like I don't know, maybe close to 10 different note points about this movie by the time I was done. And then I went to type something else, and I must have accidentally highlighted and deleted some of it. And the thing with Notepad is Control Z only works once. So I lost all my notes that I had typed for this movie immediately after I'd finished the movie. So I had to kind of rethink about everything I just saw and type it all again. That was one of the notes that I forgot to add back in, so I'm glad you mentioned your enjoyment of the male pieces.
Yeah, the male reproductive system is a very interesting biological aspect of the male human. And if that is one of your main interests, this movie can show you a little bit of what we might be talking about, and maybe more than a little bit. Though I have to say, none of the guys are my idea of what an attractive guy would be, but hey, it was the 70s.
Yeah, and I guess you should also say it's a bit unusual that the guy was so flaccid, considering he's having sex.
Yeah, I would imagine, and maybe I'm wrong, but I would have to guess those were probably mostly amateurs as opposed to people who had actually worked in the pornographic industry. I may be wrong, but I don't know. I guess I don't have much experience with pornography from the 1970s, so maybe that's pretty on par with what you might usually see. But I don't know. To me, that's not the most captivating material you can imagine.
You need to go find some of those old Sylvester Stallone pornos.
That is top one on my priority list. Sylvester Stallone pornography. There you go.
Yeah, premium bush.
Now, if Sylvester Stallone had been in Evil Come, Evil Go, would that have boosted it up to like an 8?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Indeed. So, Evil Come, Evil Go is a interesting movie. I think some people, if they don't know anything about, let's say, this time period in the horror genre, or if they don't have much experience with some of the lower budget 70s movies, this might come as a bit of a surprise. Just the quality of the movie. I've seen a decent amount from this time, so the quality itself didn't bother me, and I even thought the story had some potential. Just the basic, hey, religious person goes around killing people who have sex. I just wish they had done it in like a different way. Like there's some parts of this that seemed unrealistic. Like the main character wanting to host like a TV show to talk about her thing to kill out men, and just this rich girl just paying for it. Like I don't think it's going to happen even back in the 70s. So it's certainly a movie that you can tell it's aged, and it's unique to watch. It's not a great movie, but like I said, it has a catchy song, some pretty attractive women, a beautiful conclusion, and an almost okay idea. So I think I'll probably give this one a 5 out of 10. I enjoyed it not enough to like really necessarily like it, but even though it's only like 75-ish minutes, I just can't see myself going after this one again.
Yeah, I concur. It's I mean, I didn't enjoy the penis as much as Jiggy did, but yeah. Yeah, 5 out of 10 from me. Just slap a Brazzers logo in the bottom corner there, and other people will come watch it.
That's beautiful. And if anybody actually wants this movie, I think it was released on DVD some time ago, so look out for it. It's probably quite expensive nowadays, though.
I wouldn't be surprised if it gets a Blu-ray release, because I noticed the label that released the trailer that I saw. I know they release a whole lot of stuff on Blu-ray, so
It's amazing the things they release to Blu-ray.
yeah, and it might already be on Blu-ray. I'm not sure. I didn't really go check, but there you go.